Cid Highwind, Final Fantasy VII's foul-mouthed pilot. We all know that he always dreamed of going to outer space. But what if I told you that he had another dream? A dream of being a WWE superstar. That's what we explored when we decided to do Cid Highwind Career Mode in Smackdown Here Comes the Pain. These were the results. Cid's career started on the Smackdown brand. General Manager Stephanie McMahon had high hopes for the captain. His debut match on SmackDown was against ECW icon Stevie Richards. It was Stevie's match right out of the gate until Cid remembered that he fought some of the most fearsome creatures ever. How was he going to lose to, checks notes, Stevie Richards? No offense. Cid tried to regale Stevie with the story about his past, but Stevie was only interested in beating him, so that didn't work out. Cid hit Stevie with the Dragoon suplex, and Cid lost his debut match against Stevie Richards. Cid lost his first match, so things were not exactly going great. But Cid would not let his dreams be denied. In Week 2, SmackDown, Cid marched right up to Stevie backstage and punched him in his stupid jerk face. Vince McMahon himself decided to come to the ring and praise Cid for some reason after this. Week 3, Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle gave us a pep talk. He won a gold medal with a broken freaking neck, so Cid can fulfill his dreams too. Kurt even assisted Cid in defeating the Japanese buzzsaw Tajiri in Week 3. What's with all these ECW guys? Cid tried to show Tajiri respect after the match and invite him out to space, but Tajiri refused. What an idiot. In Week 4, Cid requested a title match from Stephanie McMahon and was granted a shot at the WWE Tag Team Championships. Who did he choose for a partner? Why, his new friend Kurt Angle, of course. Two bona fide heroes teaming up. Kurt even betrayed Team Angle for Cid. What a great pal. After a very fun matchup against the world's greatest tag team, the new world's greatest tag team emerged victorious as the new WWE Tag Team Champions. Cid was a champion just a month into his WWE career, and with a legend and current WWE Champion as his partner to boot. Things were already looking up for old Cid. But despite being a tag team champion now, for some reason, Cid was left off of the Backlash pay-per-view. Don't know why, it's pretty messed up. But at least Kurt Angle retained the WWE Championship in the main event. Mr. McMahon decided to get involved in Cid's career once again, and Kurt Angle got suspended by Mr. McMahon for attacking him with a chair. This led to a 2-on-1 assault on Cid the following week from A-Train and Big Show, McMahon's appointed #1 contenders, his hired guns. Cid unfortunately lost matches to Big Show and A-Train back-to-back in subsequent weeks. The Judgment Day pay-per-view was next. Remember when that was a pay-per-view, guys, instead of a, faction? And Cid found himself defending the tag team titles all alone against Big Show and A-Train in a handicap match. Despite a valiant effort, Cid failed to overcome that 2-on-1 onslaught of the behemoths, and the tag titles were lost. Cid was able to befriend Lita about a month after this as his new manager, but things didn't go as planned there, and Cid was unable to get back on the winning track. Cid decided to ask for a transfer to the Monday Night Raw brand. And Cid said SmackDown was just more toxic than he would bargain for, and he also said that it was more toxic than working for Shinra, actually. Cid debuted on Raw in a 6-man tag team match where he would win by pinning Test. Off to a good start. The second week into Raw, Cid teamed up with Trish Stratus to take on Jazz and some clown in mixed tag action.
How are we gonna... Oh! Sorry, Jazz. I didn't mean to hit you like that. He was just in the ring and, he was trying to get involved and... one thing led to another, and I hope Shara's not watching. If Shara's watching, Cid's in trouble. I saw you hit a woman on TV, Cid. You're a terrible, terrible husband.
Cid and Trish emerged victorious in one of the standout matches of this career mode. It was a fun one. Another golden opportunity would then present itself the following week as Cid would team up with the World Heavyweight Champion and Hollywood box office superstar, the final boss himself, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, to face Christian and Chris Jericho for the World Tag Team Championships. Cid would win his second WWE Championship in this bout, and Cid recruited another party member to take up to space with him one day. Speaking of party forming, Jim Ross informed Cid during SummerSlam that the brass wanted Cid to form a faction of his own. Cid decided to choose the Intercontinental Champion, Kane, as his first member of his new faction, despite Jim Ross's opinion on the matter.
Kane, huh? That son of a bitch set me on fire. Kane, seriously, son? You might want to reconsider this. That son of a bitch set me on fire.
Kane saved Cid from a post-match beatdown by The Undertaker to kickstart this new alliance. Cid and Kane would team up the following week to take on Booker T and Scott Steiner in the Raw main event. Hey, it's the Main Event Mafia, folks. Following a successful first outing for the new group, they decided to add another member to their ranks in the form of the women's champion, Jazz. The faction now consisted of 3 champions. Yes, Cid was still one half of the World Tag Team Champions at the time with The Rock, even though the titles will never be defended. I guess it was due to The Rock's Hollywood schedule or something. The following week, it was Cid and Kane, accompanied by Jazz, taking on Booker T and Kevin Nash, the Main Event Mafia. It was another success for the new supergroup. After the match, WWE Hall of Famer George the Animal Steele came out and asked if he could join the group. Cid promptly turned him down, perhaps because he resembled, an ugly hairy behemoth. Anyway, the time had arrived to add one last missing piece to the group. That's right, a Hollywood box office sensation. Big Dave Batista. I have to admit that at this point, I had forgotten that Cid was tag champs with The Rock. In between, filming parts of this career mode and taking time off between them. So I forgot all about the fact that The Rock was even the tag team champions with Cid anymore. And also, I really didn't want The Rock to be in the group since he was a World Heavyweight Champion at the time. And, Cid wanted that championship, obviously. So that's why we chose Batista over The Rock. Speaking of titles, Kane ended up losing the Intercontinental title to Chris Jericho at Unforgiven, while Cid would lose to Steve Austin in the main event. Things were starting to fall apart a little bit here. On the same show, though, the faction did announce their new name, The Big Ticket. On Raw the next night, Vince McMahon threatened the new faction. Bro should be more concerned about his outstanding lawsuits, if you ask me. Cid randomly got roped into being a judge in a pose-off between Triple H and Scott Steiner. Things were getting a little weird at this point. I don't know. Kane and Batista of the Big Ticket would lose to RVD and Kevin Nash, so it fell on Cid to get the W for the Big Ticket that night. As he faced Booker T in the main event, Cid lost to Booker T in the main event. To make matters worse, Cid was assaulted 3-on-1 by The Undertaker, Bubba Dudley, and Stone Cold Steve Austin at the behest of Vince McMahon himself. It was now time for the Corporation versus the Big Ticket. Trish Stratus assaulted Jazz and joined the Corporation. Cid and Batista faced Austin and Taker in the Raw main event in a losing effort. Cid definitely misses his old party. Cid grew desperate for a win the next week in mixed tag action, teaming with Jazz to face Austin and Trish. Cid hit the Highwind on Trish and was able to get the win. So much for chivalry or whatever. It was once again Cid versus Austin, one more time. This match ended up in a DQ. Cid faced The Undertaker at No Mercy in yet another losing effort. Chris Jericho would also join the Corporation side that night. Big Ticket were pretty much dead in the water at this point, it seemed. At least there was, some more measure of recourse the next night on Raw when Kane and Cid scored a victory over The Undertaker and Chris Jericho, so there was that. At Rebellion, the Big Ticket beat the Corporation in a 6-man tag. Finally, some much-needed momentum in an otherwise one-sided rivalry. Cid defeated Bubba Ray Dudley the next night on Raw as well. The following week, a loss to Taker and Jericho. The final showdown happened at the Survivor Series, and it was not recorded on stream due to an error of some sort. The fabled lost match, I guess, but Big Ticket did get the win, though, so hey. And after this match, that storyline was dropped for whatever reason. It's back to business. Cid was then teaming up with The Rock and Bill Goldberg against Kevin Nash, Booker T, and RVD in a 6-man tables match where Cid's team got the W. Cid and The Rock finally defended the tag titles in the main event of the next Raw against Booker T and Goldust. It was a success. After being left off of the Armageddon pay-per-view, Stephanie McMahon offered Cid a spot in the Royal Rumble match. In the coming weeks, Cid would build momentum on Raw with several victories before entering the Royal Rumble at number 30 and winning the opportunity to face the world champion at WrestleMania. Well, sort of. John Cena stood in the way by lying and saying it was a tie. Freaking AI-generated video, you know how it is. Cid and Cena's feud would carry on to No Way Out, where Cid would win a last man standing match against John Cena to crown the number one contender for the belt at WrestleMania. But of course, Cena whined, and we had to beat him again once more on Raw to finalize that once and for all. Cid also got to beat the hell out of the Grapist, which was awesome. Cid is now officially facing The Rock for the world title at WrestleMania. It was a Hell in a Cell match between the tag team champions, and it all came down to this. Cid Highwind achieved the dream of a lifetime by defeating Dwayne for the world title. Cid Highwind had achieved his secret dream of being a professional wrestler at the highest level. Two-time tag team champion, a Royal Rumble winner, and the world heavyweight champion when all was said and done. Will Shara support Cid's dream and let him continue wrestling? Who knows? But one thing is for sure, it was a hell of a ride for the Captain.